Well, thank you very much. I'd like to thank, Mr. President, thank you. I'd like to thank the senator from Colorado for his leadership in bringing us, the class of 2014, to the floor to talk about the common sense tax reform measure that we have the opportunity of decades to make a difference, a big difference in many of the lives of the people that we represent. And I would even say most lives. This is like the 6th time I've been down to the floor to talk about what I think is the best tax reform package I've seen in my time here, and also the different aspects of tax reform that I think are great for the country, but great for my state. I represent a small state of West Virginia. So I am really glad to be, I've talked about small business and families and what it means for them, simplification, creating a competitive environment. But there's nothing like going home and talking to people, whether you're at the grocery store or this past week we were all in Veterans Day parades, and people are generally so respectful and very happy at a Veterans Day parade. I can't say the same for every parade, but I will say for the Veterans Day parade, they're generally pretty happy. And I was really surprised because I had several constituents, not just one or two, but several, saying to me, pass this bill, we want tax relief, totally unsolicited. So West Virginians are paying attention to what we're doing here in the Senate. Right now, our colleagues on the Finance Committee are working to advance this bill as early as tomorrow, and we are very hopeful that we'll be able to consider this bill on the floor of the U.S. Senate the week we get back from Thanksgiving, as our colleagues in the House are passing their bill this week. But you know what? It's been disappointing to me and really to everybody, I think, involved in this, is tax reform has become a partisan issue, an exercise. We have shared goals. We all want to go to the same place in this country, a prosperous place where everybody can thrive and succeed. But to turn your back on what I think is a well-thought-out, much-studied plan on tax relief, I think is to turn a blind eye to just every working American, every American business, every American family. And personally, I don't think it's fair. Our goals are shared by many Americans, regardless of their party, because we want to grow small businesses. I am in a state that has 95% of our businesses are small businesses. We want to allow that small business to make the decision to grow employment opportunities or raise wages. We want to make our bigger companies competitive globally. People say, you know, well, what's a big company really going to do for me working and living here in West Virginia? Well, I think if we looked at the major companies that are invested in our state, we know that making those companies more competitive will make them, will result in those companies creating more jobs, investing more capital, buying more products, raising wages for workers. So making our companies competitive globally is exceedingly important. We want to make sure that the middle-class family that's working and struggling, and I've heard many of my colleagues say that statistics show that many American families can't even come up with $400 for an emergency expenditure in their family. I mean, that's almost a flat tire, and you know, and the towing expense to get your car fixed so you can go to work or take your kids to school or get to your job, get to your church. So I think the tax reform bill in the Senate meets many of these objectives. The nonpartisan Joint Committee on Taxation has found that the bill would provide tax relief to Americans in every single income category, with the largest percent. And this was after working the bill over several months, the largest percent going where it should go, which is to the middle income earner. The Tax Foundation has also found, with the Senate bill, as many as 925,000 new jobs can be created. That's significant. That's significant because I believe some of those jobs, and I would hope a great deal of them, would land in the great state of West Virginia. And in West Virginia, the studies show that the average middle-income family would gain $1,952 in after-tax income, and the job creation for the state of West Virginia, 4,784 jobs in our state. Now, for some people, that might sound like not very much, but in our state, that's significant. and almost 5,000 more jobs, I'll take them. We'll take them. And we'll provide good workers for them, too. And $1,900 more from your taxes, that is a major infusion of cash into a family to make the decisions that they want, that they make around their kitchen tables, not the decisions that we're making here on the floor. Yesterday, I heard from members of the West Virginia Chamber of Commerce, and Steve Roberts, who's the president of that group, said, a quote, that our current system is full of, quote, negative consequences and reduces a business's ability to hire new workers, invest in inventory and equipment, and boost our employee pay. These are the hallmarks. What he's saying here is the negative consequences are the hallmarks of what we're fixing and what we're reforming in this bill. He noted that employers are eager to grow, reinvest, reward employees with better wages. We hope Congress will act quickly to reduce and simplify taxes, ensuring a stronger and economically vigorous nation. This is something I don't think we talk about either. If we have economic security in our families and economic security in this country, we're stronger in a lot of ways that go beyond being stronger economically. Think about in your family, if you have a decision you have to make, you have to come up with some emergency funds. If you have to go and borrow or try to figure out a way to meet ends meet, it makes you feel weaker. If you can do it yourself, you're stronger. And that's what we're doing in this bill. I also want to talk about the transparency here. We're hearing criticisms that, oh, this is coming in the dead of night, nobody's ever heard of it. Nothing could be further from the truth. The Finance Committee alone has held 70 hearings on this since the year 2011. Senators from both parties have had the opportunity to weigh in, both from experts inside the Capitol and outside the Capitol. And it's undergoing right now a full markup in committee. The House has had the same procedure. This is total light in the day. This is how legislation is made. And so I am very pleased that the tax reform principles in this bill is moving through our Senate. We know the president is very enthusiastic about this. He will sign a bill that will grow our economy and benefits what he wants to benefit and what we all want, which are those middle-income families. So, each senator has a choice here. We all have our choices. My friends from South Dakota and Oklahoma and Louisiana and Colorado on the floor with me. We all have choices every day. In Arkansas, Mr. President, you can either cling to the status quo and say, yeah, everything's working well, or you can really grab this and say, this is good. This is good policy. This is good politics. This will make our country stronger and our families stronger. So this will help our small businesses thrive, create more jobs, raise wages, and above all else, benefit our families. I think it's more growth, it's more opportunity. The people that I represent want this. They want to have more of their money at the end of the day, make their own decisions. They want their good hard work rewarded. They want to see a country that grows and is optimistic and is strong and powerful, and economic strength can give us that. I just heard from a 70-year-old postal worker from Wheeling, West Virginia. He wrote to me saying, quote, the Senate needs to get these tax cuts and tax reform done, end of quote. That's the simple way most people communicate in this country. I understand that. I hope our friends on the other side of the aisle understand that. It would be great to have us join together as a Senate, as a country, to do something we know is going to have the right results, the right consequences, and the right results, again, of growing this country, providing the relief that people want with a well-studied process, with well-researched data, and with the power of the American people behind us.